Okay.
Okay.
That one? Okay.
Potato.
Hello and welcome to In the Library with
Tara.
and Adrian.
Oh, so dramatic.
We're going to go right into it. Tara's going to start us off with some nonfiction books.
Yes. So since the spooky season is upon us, sometimes it's fun to go into the nonfiction section and to do a little research, figure out how certain things came to be. I love the history of things. So I found a couple different options. A lot of people will believe that Halloween is based off All Hallows Eve, which is a Celtic tradition. And their festival is actually Samhain. And I found a book specifically about that, which I think is really neat. And I'm going to spell it because it's Celtic, so there's no W in that, even though it's pronounced Samhain. Samhain. It is Samhain.
I'm going to try and put letters on the screen right there, but I might put a wrong letter in just to see if people are paying attention.
I like it. So this is a really neat book. This is an audiobook on Hoopla. I believe we do have a copy in the library system, but I wanted to, if you like listening to books, it's on Hoopla. But it's really neat. So it's all about the festivals, the traditions, tells you a lot about it. So it's pretty neat. I want to check it out. And a book that we have both on Libby and in our library for Shizzle.
In both?
In both! You can read it online and have a physical copy, which actually I like to do a lot. Get through books faster. It's Witchcraft, A History in 13 Trials by Marian Gibson. So that one is a pretty cool story. Through this innovative and compelling work of social history travels through 13 witch trials across history, some famous like the Salem witch trials, and some lesser known. In Norway in the 1620s, in France in 1731. So it's all over. So it's 13 different stories about real witch trials that happened around the world. Just because a lot of people like to dress up like witches, and it's fun to go back to the history. And
Speaking of witches, just to reference something else going on, if you come to our Trunk or Treat, the Lake Erie Hexenbrut will be dancing.
Also, if you like witchcraft and the Salem witch trials, The Crucible by Arthur Miller, probably one of the most famous literary pieces about the Salem witch trials, in my opinion. So it is a nonfiction story, but it's based on the Salem witch trials. Give it a read. We got it here in the library. We actually have like 4 different versions, so lots of options for you. And got to make sure I get everyone involved in the theater, even if it's just reading a play.
Fair enough. I'm going to put forward a couple of seasonal but slightly tangential recommendations. First, the master of horror Stephen King has written a lot of books, and he has continued to write books, and he is still writing books, and he's got so... But if I could recommend for nonfiction on writing a memoir of the craft, it was published in 2000, and Stephen King walks through his writing process. He shares his strategies, techniques, tools, things for young and up-and-coming authors to consider when they're writing and revising their work. It's applicable to more than just horror, although clearly he's got his preferred genre, as it were.
Yeah. Wait, so is this The Craft? Did he write the book? Like, I've seen the movie about the 3 girls in high school. Is that the same thing?
That is unrelated.
Okay.
That is unrelated.
I was really confused for a minute. Like, he wrote that? That's
No.
Love Brand. All right.
Nope. Not him. Although maybe I'll see if I can't pull up real quick. Maybe it'll flash up on the screen what he thought of that movie. I'm sure he has something to say about it.
I would assume so.
Yeah. So check it out if you're an aspiring reader. And even if you're not, maybe check it out anyway, because he's got some fun stories from his life in there. Now, I am going to pivot once again, because as some of our listeners may know, I am a big fan of tarot cards. And what better season for reading tarot cards than spooky season? Here at the Bedford Branch Library, we have the Encyclopedia of Tarot, written by Stuart Kaplan. It goes through the history of the cards, the meanings of the different cards, different variations. It's a really good book if you're just getting into reading the tarot. It's one of the first books that I read on the subject when I was getting into it. It shows some different cards throughout the ages. He is considered one of the big authorities in tarot, and so it's always good to, check out and see where these sorts of things started and evolved.
Do you have a classical deck, or do you have like a fun deck?
I have several decks.
What's your favorite deck you have?
I do have a traditional Rider-Waite that was given to me, and so by a friend, and so that one's special. But my preferred one is the manga tarot deck because it's got some pretty art on it, and it's goofy.
I am not surprised.
It's goofy. It's got art by Ren.
Ren?
I'll try and put a picture up there maybe so people can see what I'm talking about.
Also, I didn't say this one, but so we talked about All Hallows Eve and it coming from the Celtic area, but a lot of people also associate Halloween with the Day of the Dead, which is a Mexican tradition about respecting your ancestors. They go to the grave sites and they'll clean them off and they'll leave flowers and they'll put up shrines in their house for a couple days. And
Disney has a completely 100% accurate depiction of this in the movie Coco.
Is it really accurate? I haven't seen Coco. I don't know if you're joking or not.
I'm kind of joking.
Okay. But it's really interesting to learn about. And we have an ebook on Hoopla. It's Halloween and the Day of the Dead, Traditions Around the World. And it's really neat because it talks about both Halloween and the Day of the Dead, but it talks about all the different traditions that everyone has at this time. Because, like we've said, so Halloween, Day of the Dead, Samhain, they all happen like around the 31st of October, 1st of November. So it's very interesting that we all have these different holidays that are very similar, take place at the same time. And it's interesting to see what we borrowed from each other, what things we just happen to have that are similar. So it's a very interesting read. It's by Joan Axelrod Contrada. I believe that's how you say her name. And then a book that we have here at MCLS that I want to check out. It's Halloween Anthology, Literary and Historical Writings Over the Centuries. So it's poems, short stories over time, all about Halloween and traditions and history.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween, Halloween.
In this town, do we call home?
Yeah. Aw, we're on the same page. I just saw that movie at the Monroe Theater, 3D with my nieces.
3D.
Highly recommend.
Is it the red and blue 3D or that new slightly?
It's the new slightly, yeah. I still have the 3D glasses. I don't know who I talked to that said they needed those for a Halloween costume, but I'm holding on to them. So if you're listening and it was you, reach out because they're just chilling in my car and I don't know what to do with them and I don't want to get rid of them because somebody needs them.
Eat them.
I'm not really that hungry right now, but maybe later.
Okay. What have you been reading?
Oh, so many. Do we go down the list?
Yes.
I have like 20 books checked out from the library right now. The main two that I'm reading right now, I am reading Matilda, because I'd never actually read Roald Dahl's stories until a couple weeks ago. I read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I love the movies. And you know what? His writing is really good. I understand why they've stood the test of time so far. And so I'm almost done with Matilda. Great book. Highly recommend. And I'm about halfway through Outlander. Which is a great story about time travel in Scotland. And they actually made a TV show out of it.
It's not like the Highlander?
No, Outlander.
Outlander. Okay. Now, going back to Matilda, how does it compare to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I would say so far that I did enjoy Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a little bit better. But that's not a diss on Matilda because it's a very good story. If you like the movies, you will like the books. What I liked about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was there were quite a few lines that were directly taken from the book and used in the movie, which I found surprising because when the second movie came out with Johnny Depp, a lot of people were telling me that movie was supposed to follow the book more closely, and I find that very inaccurate. The first movie followed it very closely. Of course, they changed the scene where the squirrels crack the nuts into the swans laying golden eggs. And I understand, because back in the day, that would have been much harder for them to figure out. So they needed to make it a little easier.
Fair enough. Do you subscribe to the Grandpa Joe hate?
The what? Oh.
Grandpa Joe hate.
Yes! Because, okay, I love him. Don't get me wrong. However, Like, they're living off cabbage soup. They're starving. Like, it's the mom and the dad are, like, scrounging to keep everyone alive. And he's just lying in bed, la-di-da-da, for 20 years. It's not even like he recently was like, okay, I'm old, I give up. No, 20 years. He's been lying in that bed pretending like he is, like, he can't move, like, oh, woe is me. And then the moment there's chocolate involved, he jumps up and starts dancing.
That's true.
So you know what? If he did not go out and find a job the next day, he should have been kicked out of the house. But I love Joe, don't get me wrong.
So I'm just going to show very quickly, maybe I'll put a link or something up on the screen, but there's an entire subreddit devoted to Grandpa Joe hate.
But I understand. He was lying in that bed. And in the first movie, the mom was all alone. That's one thing they did change. In the book, there was a mom and a dad. But just come on, dude. Apparently he didn't hate cabbage soup as much as he let on.
Maybe he actually just liked cabbage soup too much, and he knew that if he stayed in bed...
Well, you know what? If he would have gone to work and helped the family out, he could have had more cabbage soup. As much cabbage soup as he wanted.
So Outlander is time travel in Scotland, but It's not related to Highlander.
Like the Scotch?
Like Highlander the movie, where there can be only one, and they go around with sword fighting. And Sean Connery.
Oh, I like Sean Connery. Never heard of this film. No, this is good. This takes place, I want to say the 1920s, 30s. She's British, and she's with her husband in Scotland, and just like vacay, and then she randomly, like, finds a circle of stones, and she gets sent back to, like, the 1830s. And...
That was a good year.
Not if you were British in Scotland.
Well.
Very distrusting, rightfully so. So then she's, like, held captive, but she's, like, a nurse, so, like, they like her, and, like, she becomes, like, the healing person at one of the castles, and...
I mean...
Now she just got married again, so she has a husband in both times, which is interesting.
If you can convince them you're not a witch, modern medical practices have come a long way.
So far, I watched part of the first series. I didn't finish watching it, but that eventually does come up, and so I'm excited to see if it comes up in the book. Eventually, someone doesn't like her, and so they try to convince everyone she's a witch.
But is she a witch?
No, but she did time travel, so... So what are you reading right now? Okay,
so for my part, I am serving as a judge in a reading competition for the 2024 Indie Author Project. And so I've had to read a large series of novellas from self-published and unpublished authors. So if I can't speak to where I've rated books or who's currently leading in the competition at this time because the results haven't been announced.
Well, don't worry about the results, but which one do you want to win?
So I am going to say that Cynthia Swanson, she has a submission. Her submission was her novella Anyone But Her, but she apparently is the best-selling author of The Bookseller and The Glass Forest. Surprisingly good. Like, I was impressed. I'd never heard of her before, but check her out. It's Cynthia Swanson, and maybe I'll try and put, like, a little picture or something, like, right here.
Is everyone in this contest local?
No.
How did you get to be a judge?
There was a call that went out for librarians to volunteer their services, and I agreed. And I will say that in the first round of judging, I deeply, deeply regretted my decision.
Just because there was so much?
Yes, and...
They weren't all great?
There are a lot of submissions that I read that were self-published for a reason. Another one, if I can point out an author here, Paul Austin Ardoin, who I don't know if he's written anything else. His novella submission, The Reluctant Corner, was pretty good. It's not my favorite to win the contest, but it was pretty good, so good with that one.
Saying that on the record for everyone.
You know, my apologies, but I do check out their future work.
But you know what, Adam, you said there was a whole bunch of people in this, and for you to call them out and say it was pretty good read. I think that's
It's true.
it's very good odds.
I am currently reading The Shutdown List by Sharon Duquette. It is a finalist in the mystery category. I'm about halfway through it. All of the ones that I've had to read are mystery thrillers. So if you're into mystery thrillers, check those out. Especially, again, I will give a shout out to Cynthia Swanson.
So what the winner? Do they like help publish their books? Is there multiple winner? Like is it winner in each genre?
There's a winner in each genre, and I will be honest, I have no idea what they're competing for.
You're a judge.
Aside from title of 2024's Best Indie Author Contest winner.
Is there like a place where like everyone could go read them, or is it just for the judges to read them?
Right now, they are just for the judges.
Okay.
So let's
That's
look up what the prize is real
I
quick.
always wanted to write a book. Someday.
Do it.
I'd write a kid's book.
You can check out the Indie Author Project annual contest. We'll probably put a link or something like right here. Woo! Okay. I assume they'll be open next year as well. Submissions are open from April 1st to April 31st.
Ooh.
Submission guidelines. Oh, look at this.
Nice.
Winners of this contest will receive $2,500 to the first place winner and $500 each to 2 runner-ups in each genre.
Nice.
Yeah. Is it the Indie Author Day reception? Opportunities to promote your book at public libraries. Inclusion in a full-page print spread in Library Journal. And opportunities
Upperdies.
to earn royalties through the IAP Selection Collection. Yay!
That's really neat. I like that. This kind of stuff is out there. So if there's any writers out there, you should check it out for this
That's right.
upcoming year.
If you're a writer in our local area, please submit your work. I can't promise that I will be the judge over your work or that I'll give special favor or, look more positively on local authors, but
And if you're a local author, we have our Writers on the River. I believe we're taking applications right now for anyone who wants to be a part of that.
What a fantastic segue. Let's talk about library programming.
So on top of it.
Very on top of it.
I just talked about that one.
I know.
All right. So Writers on the River is going to take place Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Ellis Library. So this is for local writers, and I believe it needs to be books that you've written in the last 2 years. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
I went to it last year to check out the books of our very own Joyce Harvey, fabulous author, and it was a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch of people, and there's the tables, and you can see all the different books they've written, and there's a little bit of everything, which was really neat. So it's definitely fun to go support our local authors and see what's out there.
If you're not I don't know if she will be returning, but frequent guest and favorite author of yours truly, Lanny Stabile, may be there. She's been there the last couple of years, and I have reason to believe she is returning. So if you haven't, stop by. Just say hi to Lanny. I don't know if it's Stabile or Stabile, which...
Stable.
No, it's definitely not that. She said her name a bunch of times, especially when she was on the show, but I can never remember if it's Stabile or Stabile.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just how I am.
Adrian. Let's go to the next one. Adrian.
All right. So, coming up at the Dorsch Branch Library, we have a couple things going on for everyone. On November 2nd, 2024, from 11 to 12, we'll be having the Let It Snow ornament. Come to the Dorsch Memorial Branch Library and create 2 ornaments with the theme Let It Snow. You will take home 1 ornament and the other will be placed on the Dorsch Christmas tree. Space is limited.
Aww.
You can register online.
I just have a song in my head.
Do you like
Let
snow?
it snow, let it snow, let it snow. No. I mean, I do for like winter activities, but I also haven't snowboarded since high school, so...
I love snowboarding.
I love that it gets cold and all the insects die. Because I'm not a fan of fruit flies and mosquitoes.
Where did you snowboard?
I snowboarded a couple times at Boyne in tippy top of Michigan. Very fun place. Highly recommend.
I'm just going to finish up Dorsch real quick.
Fine.
Dorsch, November 16, 2024, from 11 to 12. We'll be having Dinovember. November is Dinovember. Dinosaurs have taken over the children's area of the Dorsch Memorial Branch. They have come out to play, make messes, and have a good time. Come enjoy a variety of activities exploring dinosaurs. Registration is required.
Wow. I like how into that you are. Very dramatic. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Ankylosaurus. What's yours?
Tyrannosaurus.
At least you didn't say pterodactyl. We'd get into a whole debate.
Pterodactyl.
Unfortunately, the pterodactyl is not a dinosaur.
Why is it not a dinosaur?
Because it doesn't meet the qualifications.
Then what was it?
It's a reptile. Hold on.
Aren't all dinosaurs reptiles?
Still a dinosaur.
I mean, like a crocodile's kind of like a dinosaur nowadays.
Pterodactyls are not classified as dinosaurs, but they still have a lot in common with other prehistoric predators. Bum bum bum. It's a pterosaur.
I am highly offended. This is like when they were mean to Pluto. Pluto is a planet. I don't care what anyone says.
It's a planetoid.
It is a
Microplanet.
planet. It was named after Pluto. It was named after Hades, and he is going to come after us. Don't take his planet away. So mean. Also coming up at the Bedford Branch Library, Hello Kitty's Birthday Bash on Saturday, November 2nd from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Join us to celebrate Hello Kitty's 50th birthday with games, crafts, and treats. Register online or with one of our librarians, please and thank you.
From Hades straight into Hello Kitty.
Same thing.
I mean, alphabetically that works.
Do you know that Hello Kitty is not a cat?
It's a kitty.
It's a girl. It's also a lot older than I thought. Like, it's been around for a long time.
50 years, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it probably seems newer because it probably didn't come over to the United States quite as soon as it was created.
I remember my childhood.
Your childhood was not that long ago.
500 years ago.
534,600,000.
Do not sit here and mess up musical
frogs
theater.
in your yard.
We're going to have issues later.
The Bedford Branch Library is pleased to present Jigsaw Puzzle Tournament, Saturday, November 16, 2024. From 2 to 3:30 p.m. Teams compete to see who can finish a puzzle first. Every team is given the same 500-piece puzzle. Each team can be up to 4 peoples. Bum, bum, bum. Only register the team captain and then put the names of the members in the notes. Register online.
Why do I feel like that's something you would do, but you would take the challenge of like being your own team and seeing if you could beat everyone else?
I absolutely would.
Yeah, I know.
So this is true. For listeners who are not aware, I used to work at a 911 center. And one of the things we did to maintain zen between calls was to assemble puzzles. Mm-hmm. I am very good at building puzzles. Huh. I don't know if that's a marketable skill, but there you go.
I don't feel like putting it in a tournament keeps the zen.
Yeah, well,
kind of gives a little anxiety.
Building them at 911 didn't really keep zen either, for being completely honest.
Fair enough. Coming up at the Bedford Branch Library on October 30th is the Gardens of Stone. The symbology, I don't know how to say that.
Iconography.
Iconography. I work at a library. I'm smart, I promise. And architecture and evolution of the rural cemetery movement. Wednesday, October 30th at 6 p.m. Have you ever walked through a cemetery and been curious about the different headstones and why they look the way they do? Or about the various carved symbols and initials decorating the stone? If you have, please join local... Oh, I can't say that word either.
Preservationist?
Sure. Preservationist and historian. I shouldn't be reading this one. Jeffrey Green to explore the symbols and architecture of garden cemeteries and the evolution of rural cemetery movement. Best part is I could have just skipped over the words I couldn't say.
Note to self, make sure Tara reads all of the ones with the big words.
No, the best part is you just told me how to say them, and looking back, I would need to phonetically write it out because I still couldn't say it. I need to see it phonetically.
I am pleased to announce that both that previous and the one I'm about to announce events both occur in 2024.
Not 2025?
Fortunately not. Bedford Branch Library is pleased to present Quizzical Trivia Night coming November 26, 2024 from 6 to 8 p.m. That's a Tuesday. Teams of up to 5 persons are invited to compete in a free multi-round trivia competition. Refreshments provided. Registration is open to the first 6 teams. If you do not have a team, feel free to register and send us a message. We'll try to find you one. Register online.
Now my team is, we are the reigning champs, so best of luck to anyone who wants to go up against us again.
Just make sure you brush up on distinguishing between pasta and fish.
Why would you get pasta and fish confused?
Bum, bum, bum.
At the Bedford Branch Library, we are going to be having our Trunk or Treat. This will be on Tuesday, October 29th at 6 p.m. in the North parking lot. Parents, please see a staff person to register your little ghosts and goblins for this annual Halloween celebration. As a part of registration, we ask for a donation of 1 bag of candy per child. Anyone who would like to have their car involved or a table, if you want to do that, be prepared to have candy for up to 200 children and decorate your vehicle as best as you can. I'm going to try and make mine look like an aquarium.
I'm going to try and make mine look like a car.
Ooh, I don't think you have the skills to do that.
I know.
Best of luck.
I know.
What are you going as for Halloween?
Well, at the library, I'm going as Darla from Finding Nemo. She's the little redhead in the dentist office who keeps killing the fish. She's like, I'm a piranha. Ah, la, 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 la. Because everyone at the Bedford Branch is going as Disney villains. And although not technically a villain, she definitely is the bad guy of that film. She keeps killing the fish.
That's true. Those poor fish.
I know. What are you going as?
Sad. No,
Dark for a second.
got a little snort out of you, too.
Nope, wasn't me. That was you. You could go as Sadness from the Inside Out. So that could be a real thing.
That was almost, from our internal emails, that was almost what we were going to be.
Yeah, we were thinking about Inside Out. But then we would have a lot of repeats.
Yeah. No, I am going as Hades, the
80s.
from the underworld.
Are you going as...
Hercules.
You're going from Hercules, yeah. Well, he is a
Heracles?
cool... It should be Heracles. We went through this last time. I got issues. I love that movie, but I also got issues.
That's true.
But that is a cool one to do, because he's all blue.
Yeah, dabba dee dabba die.
Yes.
One last thing we would like to inform our listeners of. If you haven't already, please check out the new Kicking Mule sculpture at the Bedford Stadium. It was created and donated by Dane Turpening. I'm probably saying his name wrong. It is at the end piece of all the renovations that have been done to the stadium in recent years. It is located in the concession area inside the gate on the home side of the stadium. After dark, the sculpture is lit up bright red for an extra awesome look.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. According to this, it is 16 feet high, 10 to 13 feet long, and about 4 feet wide, and it weighs a ton. So check it out. Well, we would certainly like to thank you for joining us today. And if you have been reading anything that you think we should check out or other listeners might like, please leave a comment down below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications when my MCLS me uploads a new video.
Potato.